In this video, I will be explaining level 103 of the Backrooms, which I thought was a safe level because I read the beginning of it and it said so, until I got to the bottom of the page and I saw what's really inside of it. So if that sounds interesting, stick around for that video and see how it's indeed deadly and not safe. And without any more talking, let's go ahead and get into that explanation, shall we? Level 103 of the Backrooms has been classified as a safe level with a high probability that you're gonna survive. Kinda, like I said, it's actually not. I don't know why they're just lying to us. The main part of the level takes place on some sort of aircraft carrier ship or vessel on top of an endless ocean. The ship itself is aimlessly floating around with no destination or direction or any purpose. It's just floating. Aboard this vessel, there's a ton of strange effects, bunches of weird rooms and non-Euclidean spaces, and a multitude of just odd things that make me wonder really why it's considered safe. I genuinely don't understand. I know I keep saying that, but you will understand later. The aircraft carrier looks like the normal size of one that you'd see in real life on the outside. It just seems normal. But once you get inside and you go below deck, you guessed it, it is infinitely expansive and no end has ever been seen. There isn't any way to measure its dimensions or anything like that, or to measure the ocean's dimensions for that matter, but it's just assumed that both are infinite, or it's just too big to explore. While this ship is sailing across the ocean, it will occasionally stop in the middle of the ocean at random floating docks. These docks are made out of wood, and they seem to literally just be floating around the ocean aimlessly. They're not anchored down, they are literally just floating around, and the ship just decides to stop at them sometimes. On these docks, though, are various crates of supplies that would usually be seen and needed to restock a ship. So wooden boxes containing almond water, food, weapons, and in this case, fire salt, liquid silence, royal rations, and that kind of thing. The only bad news is the ship will only stop moving for just a few seconds when it arrives at the dock. So somehow you have to get down from this massive boat and then carry all that stuff back to the boat without getting left behind. I don't know how that's possible, but it might be, I don't know. On the top deck of the ship are helicopters and jets and things like that that can be seen in real life as well. These are non-functional though, and they don't even have any gas in them, and the technology doesn't work either. It kind of just seems like they're husks of their true versions. They're pointless. Traveling downstairs below deck, you'll find what I said earlier, a strange interconnected expanse of hallways and rooms and buildings that has no design, no map, and it makes no sense at all. But the walls in these hallways are usually lined with pipes, and they're pretty shiny in color, almost as if they're cleaned constantly. There's actually a chart on this level's page that kind of lists out different rooms that you might run into when you're walking around, including things like hospital rooms and berths and cafeterias and engine rooms and biohazard rooms and things like that. Throughout these areas, oftentimes a thick and dense fog will flow through these hallways and rooms. Because of how expansive and massive it is, it's thought that its own atmosphere can appear. But this fog pretty much leaves visibility in some areas to non-existent means. You just can't see. And it's an excellent way to make yourself get even more lost in this labyrinthine hallway. Those pipes that I mentioned that run through the hallways here are either blue or red in color, and that's pretty important because each of them carries a different substance. The red ones seem to carry an unknown red liquid that appears to be corrosive and toxic, and the red pipes themselves often lead to biohazard rooms and containment rooms. Don't know what that red liquid is, could be blood, could be the crushed up remains of humans, I literally don't know, the page doesn't say. But the blue pipes carry water directly from the ocean, and it's salt water, and this leads to different rooms like cafeterias and boiler rooms and things like that. The hallways are also pretty small for the most part, and even though they extend forever, they're physically cramped and they're physically claustrophobic. Jutting off from these halls and other places, you might find different rooms like I mentioned, bunk rooms and cafes and boiler rooms, and everything like that is seen in these hallways, all of which have their own sets of unique abilities and strange effects that you're gonna have to go through. Entities freely roam around these various locations inside of the labyrinth as well. Some of the rooms here are more infested with them than others, like cafeterias and bunkhouses seem to be the main ones, but other places are also infested, and sometimes they're so infested to the point where you can't even walk inside them because the entities are just all in there. Which again, this is why I'm saying I don't know why they consider it safe when you can't even walk in some of the rooms because you're gonna get eaten. One of the strangest things about this level though is as you go deeper and deeper into the bottom of the ship, things become stranger. That non-Euclidean geometry that's so common in all the Backrooms levels becomes more prevalent here. And dangerous people and subhumans that have gotten lost down here seem to kind of rule the area. These are called wretches, as you know, and they seem to just take over the lower parts of the ship, appearing as nothing more than fleshy blobs of what used to be a human that was starved and dehydrated enough to where they turned into that. Do not go down to the bottom of the ship. But as you explore the rest of the hallways, there are 6 specific guidelines that you want to follow in order to survive, and those are as follows. Number 1, do not trust the darkness. Rooms that you can walk inside of that have no light, that are completely pitch black, they should not be explored. I feel like that goes without saying, but do not go in rooms that are completely dark. Number 2, if you hear voices, they are not friendly, they are not human, and they do not want to help you. You might hear someone calling for help or someone talking. Do not approach it. These are, what are you, stupid? Don't approach a random voice, okay? Number 3, you're being watched at all times. If you get that feeling that someone is stalking you, like the hair on the back of your neck stands up, then you probably are actually being watched, and you need to vacate whatever hallway you're in quickly. Number 4, if a room is filled with balloons, don't go inside of it. Obviously, these are so easy, guys. These are simple. These are very simple. Number 5, if the room opens to a void, this is an entrance to the decayed level. Again, do not approach unless you want to die. Number 6, if the lights turn off, turn your own light on, or get to the surface of the vessel as fast as possible. There are strange things that lurk in the darkness. And number 6, if you find a door or a room covered in blood or red liquid, as I like to call it, so YouTube doesn't send my channel to the Shadow Realm, do not open that door and do not look in that room, because behind the door is death. According to this page, doors that are covered in that red liquid lead to something known as the blood rooms. Now, I'm not sure if the blood rooms are real because there's no page about it, but it's mentioned here and it sounds pretty scary, so you don't want to go to the blood rooms, guys. Don't do it. And those guidelines, they seem pretty straightforward, right? I mean, it seems pretty simple, but nevertheless, they should be listened to if you want to somehow survive. To enter this giant vessel, you need to find a uniquely marked door over on level 17 that literally just looks like a gray door with 3 yellow stripes on it. That's how you know that you're entering this level. Once you open it, you'll be here. To exit, you gotta find a trauma center or like a hospital room deep in the labyrinth of the hallways here, and you have to find specifically one that has neon lighting on the outside. Once you find that, you open the door and you'll be led to level 109 and out of this deadly vessel that seems to be literally one of the worst levels to be stuck on. I don't know, again, why it's classified as safe. But as you can see, this is just a dangerous place, right? It's just this floating ship of death, essentially. And I wouldn't recommend coming here, to be honest. There's blood seeping down the hallways. There's glitchy geometry. There's fog in the hallways. There's no natural food except on those crates. And there's wretches that are in the bottom of the ship. That does not sound very fun to me, but who knows? Maybe you guys are weird and sick and twisted. Anyways, that's it for this explanation. I hope you did enjoy the level. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much again for tuning in to this year's Brugly Summer Spectacular. I got a lot more coming, a lot more tricks up my sleeves, a couple collabs also coming. Don't want to speak too soon, but I got some nice videos coming out with that. But with all that said, check out the description below for my Twitter, my Instagram, all my other stuff as well. Thank you for everything that you do for me. I really appreciate it, guys. I love and appreciate all of you. And I just want to say, I hope you'll have a great day, and I hope that you tell somebody you love them, because life is indeed too short not to. With all that said, I will see you in the next video on any of my channels, any of my Instagram, Twitter, all that crap. Bye-bye.